Hey everyone, it's Carly and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my January wrap up. So this month I actually started off with a pretty good bang of books that I read. I read 13 books, 4 of them being physical, 7 of them being audio, and 2 ebooks. I read 2 ARCs this month as well, so yay go me. I read 3,997 pages, which is decent. I read 7 contemporary/romance books, 2 thrillers, 1 YA, and 1 fantasy, and 2 middle grade. So I had a pretty diverse reading month with genres and whatnot, and I'm really excited to share all the books that I read because if you didn't know, I started like a bullet journal where I write down all the books that I read instead of reading them off my phone. So I kind of upgraded, I guess. So I have 13 books that I'm going to share with you guys that I read this month, and I'm super excited. So let's just get started. So the first one was an audiobook, and you guys know that I'm also trying to read all Christina Lauren books throughout this year, and I actually started off with Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, and this is a romance, obviously. I really did actually enjoy this. I was surprised at how much I did enjoy this. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Sorry, I'm looking at my book over here. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, so it was like in the middle. I don't really remember what it was about, honestly, because I read this in the beginning of the month, and this is about Hazel and a guy named Josh, and they're basically just not dating, and they're just friends. So basically, I'm kind of remembering it now. It's Hazel is like starting this job and she hasn't like dated. She's like one of those weird like quirky girls, like she's just like weird unapologetically herself and stuff like that. And she went to college with a guy named Josh, and they're kind of like reconnect like a couple years later, and basically they're like best friends. He helps her out through everything, like if anything goes wrong he's always there to help her, and then they start to get closer even though they're like, oh no, we're never going to end up dating, we're not doing that. And they kind of help each other out on like trying to find dates, but they always end up going wrong. They go on like double dates like with people, and like it's either there are 2 people that they go with end up together, or they just end up like leaving together because it's just like this turned out to be a shit show. So then obviously things happen, and then they obviously start to like flirt and things start to happen, and it was actually like really cute. Now that I'm like thinking back to it, there was like parts in there that were really cute, and then I also just listened to an audiobook, so it was a very easy audiobook to get through. So yeah, that's my first Christina Lauren book that I read this month. Next book I actually did read on audio, and that was another Christina Lauren book, and that was Other Honeymooners by Christina Lauren, and I finally have gotten around to reading this, and I love this. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, no shocker there. It's also made it onto my favorite books of the year already, which I know we just started, but whatever. I really did love this. It's about a girl named Olive. Basically, her sister is her twin sister. She's getting married, and they all go to, you know, eat from the buffet, and there's like bad fish there, and her enemy is named Ethan, and they're like, they don't like each other, they hate each other, all that kind of stuff, and like enemies to lovers, the perfect amount of it. And so they have like this vacation, like a honeymoon vacation that they can't like get a refund on, her sister and her husband. And so she's like, dude, just go, have a good time, just go to it. And so basically she goes on the honeymoon with her enemy Ethan, and obviously they don't like each other, so they have to like deal with each other, and things just start to happen. She's about to start a new job, and so basically what like kind of comes to it is that her boss somehow just ends up being there on the same vacation, and is kind of like, oh hey, you're married, when did that happen? And so she has to like basically lie to her boss that, yeah, I'm married, just like my honeymoon, all this kind of stuff. And that's basically where they have to like pretend that they're dating and go on dinners with them, and it was really cute and so wholesome. I was so sad when this finished because it was an amazing read. I love this so much, and I want to like relive it. Like if I could relive it, I totally would, and I just loved it so much. The next book I read was an ebook, and it was My Lady's Lover by Nicola Davidson, and this was a kind of disappointing read. I really could not recall much of this because I just kind of just got through it to get through it. I had my eye on this for a while to read, but it just wasn't that great. It's a female-female romance between a girl and her servant. She's like the princess, something like that, and she's like a servant. And so basically her husband is kind of like an asshole, and he kind of like hates her because she can't give him kids, and so he goes away on like this trip or something, and so the servant and her are like really close, and the servant's always had like feelings for her, and so she kind of like pursues it. And then the servant, or the princess, I'm just gonna call her princess or queen, something like that, she realizes how she doesn't have like much sexual experience, and that she really hasn't been getting anything good like sexual wise from her husband and stuff like that. And so she kind of just like opens her up to a whole new world, and then she ends up getting like kicked out or something like that of her palace, and so she ends up like moving in with the servant, and the servant gets fired because I forget something happened, something like bankruptcy kind of happened or something bad with the husband, and so they all kind of like move out happily ever after in the end. So I mean, it was a 3 out of 5 stars. It's just kind of basic and average, and it was like my first historical fiction, so I also never really read anything like that, with romance mixed in, so it was just kind of meh for me. So I doubt I'll end up picking up anything similar to that. Next, I also read another ebook, which is another really disappointing read, was The Loner's Lady by Jessica Cain, and I read The Preacher Man by her, and I really loved it, and this just did not do it for me. It made me so uncomfortable. I actually have a vlog where I did read this, and I really did not like my time while I read it. I gave this a 1.5 out of 5 stars. I couldn't tell you why I gave it a 0.5. I think maybe it was the sex scenes. I think that's what I said in the vlog. I kind of go more in depth in the vlog about it, and you guys get to see my initial reactions to reading it, and it was just not a good time. It was not worth it. And after that, I have not picked up my Kindle since this month, so I'm kind of having like a hiatus from my Kindle right now and just reading Kindle books. But basically it's about this girl. She goes on, I want to say like on vacation with her best friend who is gay, and his father doesn't know that. So she goes away on like vacation to his father's house, which he has to go and visit every year for him to continue paying for something for him, like his college or something like that. And basically it's like the alpha male type. And so they go there, and as soon as they like see each other, they have like that instant connection, and it's just, he's very like protective and aggressive towards her. I don't know, but basically I think the son already knows that they have like that connection as soon as they like meet each other, and so he's like, oh, I'm gonna go do my homework, I'll catch y'all later. And it's just like kind of like he gave them that time to be together because he knows there's a connection there, but his father doesn't know that he's gay. And so towards the end he finds out that he's like gay and like all this kind of stuff, and he's like happy for him, so that's like a good part in it. And then obviously they like, the girl and the guy end up together. It's like a huge age gap too. It just made me very uncomfortable just because of the guy. I just didn't like him, and I just didn't like the girl, and it made me really uncomfortable. Like I will definitely link the vlog up below because it kind of gives more of an explanation on like the parts that I didn't like and all that kind of stuff, just because it made me very uncomfy, and I wish I didn't read it, but I did, sadly. My next book is my ARC that I read this month, and that is You Are Not Alone by Greer Hendrick and Sarah Pekkanen. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so happy that I was able to get this on my hands, in my hands. I love this so much. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Obviously, I have loved every single Greer Hendrick and Sarah Pekkanen book. They're my favorite duo author. Like, nobody compares to them. They never disappoint, and literally, I feel like everybody knows me as like their lovers, that their favorite stan, I don't know, I stan them. I feel like everyone knows me because of their books, and like I'm not even mad about it because I love this so much. This is another freaking wild ride. I can't even like put it into words, because when you talk about their books, you can't just like kind of give away the plot, because it kind of gives away the entire book. Basically, it's about this girl. I'm already forgetting her name. Shay. Her name is Shay. So she go to work. She is on the subway, and then all of a sudden she watches some girl commit suicide, and so this has a heavy trigger for suicide talk about it throughout the entire book, and also has a trigger wording for rape. It's a very heavy book on their part. Like, this is like their probably heaviest book relating to topics and stuff like that. So I did give like a full-blown review, which I'll also link my Goodreads of the review down below, just because I did review it. I have yet to make a video for it. I'm not really sure if I'm going to do it now, but basically she sees the suicide, and after that she kind of becomes like obsessed-ish with the suicide that happened. She keeps wanting to find out everything that happens, and so she meets like, there's like these girls. It's kind of, I see it as like a cult. It's like kind of cult-ish, and so she kind of like follows the suicide of what happened and tries to find out more information about the girl. And then there's these sisters that come, and they kind of like take her under her wing, but it's not really a good thing because it's just fucking crazy. They make Shay out to be like the crazy person throughout the entire book, and it's just like, it's so good. Oh my god, you guys just need to read this. I don't know when this comes out. It comes out March 2020, so it comes out soon, and I'm so excited because I got to read this already, and I just love this. I actually buddy read this with blanking on her name, Nature Cozy Reads. I think I actually forget like her real name. I'm so bad at names, I'm so sorry, but I will link her channel down below as well, because we did buddy read this and we had an amazing time together. I love this so much. Next book I read was also an audiobook, and that was You by Caroline Kempis. I don't know. I only picked this up because I was starting to watch season 1 of the show, and I was really enjoying my time, and so I decided to pick up the first book, and I liked being able to compare what I saw from the first season to the book. And basically it's about a guy named Joe. He is obsessed with this girl named Beck who comes into his bookstore, and basically he just kind of like her stalker, tries to make her fall in love with him. We all know what he was about because everybody and their mother has ranted and raved about this book in the show, and so you already know what it's about. So I'm not really gonna go too in depth with it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars though, because I did like it. There was different things in the book that I wish weren't changed compared to the show. Honestly, I think I like the show better than the book with how they did it, so there's that. Next book, I did a reread of my favorite book, and that was My Favorite Half Nightstand by Christina Lauren. I was going on a road trip 2 hours away to get a tattoo and to go thrifting, and so I decided to put on an audiobook that I knew I was going to be able to listen to and just enjoy my time with, and so I listened to this reread again, and you guys know I love this book so much. It has to do with romance, and Friends to Lovers, I think it is. Not Enemies to Lovers, because I told somebody it was Enemies to Lovers, but it's Friends to Lovers. It's about this girl. She has like 4 guy best friends, and she accidentally like hooks up with one of them while she was drunk, and then they have to like find dates when they have to go to like this ball for their job or something like that, and basically they like end up together, and she like fakes her profile to like kind of like talk to him as like a different person so he would like get more interested in her. And then it's just like her having trouble with trying to be more open with people and herself and her friends. And so it was just a really, really cute. I love this book. I will always love this book. I think it's like one of my favorite Christina Lauren books, so I was just really happy to read it. Next is another Christina Lauren book. I went ham with Christina Lauren books this month. I have like not that many left, which I'm actually really sad about, but I read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and this was actually surprisingly good. Despite the cover, it was a really good book. So just go into it knowing that it was a really good book despite the cover, how boring it is and all that kind of stuff. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars as well, and I read this with audio because I don't have a physical copy of it, which I will eventually get all the books on my shelves, but you know, I have no room right now, so it's not gonna happen anytime soon. I'm also on a book buying ban. So, but anyway, it's about this girl and a guy. They like kind of like meet when they're like friends, so it goes like different timelines from when they were younger, and they would like read in like her book closet, which was so cute. And they basically just watch each other grow and raise because her mother died when she was young, and her mom like leaves like a list behind of like how to do things with her dad, and it's just so cute with how her dad raises her. And it's like a very like homey book with like close companions with her friends and her family, and it was just really cute. And then they like meet up like years later because things ended badly between them once they got older, as they were little and older, and so they end up like re-meeting, and it's just a lot of like built up tension from when they were younger and how things ended with them. And so they kind of like rebuild the relationship, and in my opinion, I think she forgave him a little too easily, even though if you think about it, it was years ago, like maybe like a decade ago when everything bad happened. And so they kind of like rekindled the relationship, and honestly this is a really wholesome book. I really did enjoy it. I loved all the characters, and I honestly want to reread it, but I shouldn't do that. I have way too many books to get through. Next book I read was when I was taking a trip to New York. I was on the train. I was on the bus for like about an hour and a half, and I decided to pick this book up, and it's The Past and Other Things That Should Stay Buried, I think, by David Hutchinson. I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really like it. It's about this guy. What's his name again? About a guy, his best friend dies, and they like ended things really badly, and then all of a sudden his best friend's not dead. She like comes back from dead, and because he works in like a morgue, his family has like a morgue business, and so he was like preparing her for being thrown into the fire to be like dead completely. And like all of a sudden she's like awake on the table, and so like there's a lot of anger and stuff like that. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's like really childish. It's a YA, so I mean but it was just really childish. I didn't like it. There was a good LGBT trans rep in there as well, but the only good thing about it, I just didn't like the book. It was very boring, and it was very stupid. The characters are very childish. They just didn't, it was just, I wish I didn't read it. I think this is my favorite book of the month because I can't stop thinking about it, but I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So my buddy read this with Kayla on YouTube here. I'll link her channel down below because she is my new best friend, and we're gonna be buddy reading literally the entire trilogy, and I can't wait because I actually pre-ordered The Book of King on paperback, and it comes February 11th, and I can't wait. I seriously can't wait. I want to have all paperbacks, which I don't think Queen of Nothing is paperback out yet. Had the paperback out yet? I don't know if it's gonna be like a year from now or what, but I need it. So if you can't tell, I loved the hell out of this book. I actually dedicated a reading vlog to it, so I will save y'all from hearing about it just because I have a whole reading vlog dedicated to me reading this entire book, and I loved it so much. So if you don't know what it's about this girl named Jude. She watches her parents get murdered and by this guy who is basically like her stepfather. So her sister's half is fairy, and she's not. And so they end up going to the fairy world where they have to live and learn how to live like fairy and folk do and stuff like that. And so in the book she is like bullied constantly by this guy named Carden, which he is a fairy as well, because they're like, we don't like humans, fuck out of here, we don't like you, all this kind of stuff. And so then we learn to find out it's because he actually kind of like likes her, and he can't stop thinking about her, and it's just like there's a little tiny bit of romance in there. So I understand why people are like constantly like wanting more romance, and I don't know how the second book's gonna be. I heard that it's really boring, but then I was talking to Jocelyn Rees about it as well because she was telling me how much she liked it, and I was kind of talking to her and Kayla about it the entire time, and it was such a good book. I loved it so fucking much. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. Like, I can't wait to read the rest of the series. I can't believe it took me this long to read it. I love you. Next book was an audiobook, and this was my first middle grade that I read, and also my first book by V.E. Schwab, and that was City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. I gave this a 4 to 5 stars. It's my first middle grade as well, like I said, and it's about this girl named Cassandra Blake. Cassidy Blake. She has a best friend named Jacob, which he's a ghost. He kind of like saved her when she died almost died, so she kind of like half died and he brought her back to life kind of thing. And so now she can go with it to the in-between where she can like see like the ghost world, which this reminds me so much of my childhood because I would play this game with my friends when I was younger where we called Ghost World, where we would like have this ball, like this bouncy ball in our hands, and it would like pass us to the ghost world, and it'd be so cool because like this reminded me so much of my childhood, and like it literally was my childhood like in a book. So basically she goes through the ghost world, which is called the portal, and so she kind of like goes through and has to like, I guess, kind of like take care of like ghosts that can't pass on. Jacob is one of them, but she's like really close to Jacob because he kind of like saved her, and they're like best friends, which is so cute and wholesome. And it's just kind of cool because there's like things in the book that she has to like complete, and that's how the book ends, is like she has to like complete this ghost, like this bad ghost, like a poltergeist or something like that, which would happen in the second book. She had to like take care of this poltergeist, so they have to take care of this person that was like trying to kill her, like this ghost that literally took the ribbon out of her chest and stuff like that. And so there's like always like this big thing that she has to like complete and fix before her parents move on, because her parents are filming like a ghost show. And I actually only read these books because Olivia Reads Latte actually talked about these books in like her wrap up and her vlogs and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, that sounds really cute and wholesome, and the script had them, and so I decided to listen to them, and I listened to all of them besides the third one because the third one comes out this year and it's gonna take way too long to get here, and I can't wait to read it because I miss that world. Next book I'm not gonna talk about because I did a rate review on this. Sorry, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. That is Rules for Being a Girl by Katie Katugno and Candace Bushnell. Y'all fucking know my hatred for this book. I gave it a 1 out of 5 stars. If I could give it a 0, I would have given it a 0. I will leave that video up in the cards because I'm not even gonna waste my time on that one. And my final book was also a middle grade, and that was Tunnel of Bones by V.E. Schwab, and that was the second book in the Cassidy Blake series. And this one, you basically just see more of Jacob and her, and then traveling to Paris this time around, because the last one, I forget where they traveled to. It might have been New York, I'm not too sure. But they travel to different places because their parents are filming like a ghost show, obviously. Her parents are filming a ghost show, so they travel to different places around the world. And so this one they're in Paris, and so they go to like the Tunnel of Bones, like they go to where the bones are underneath the bodies or the bones are underneath the ground, that place, I forget what it's called. But they go there, and so like they have to like basically take care of this poltergeist that's like literally like turning Paris upside down and like coming after her, and it's just like so crazy, and you learn more things about the ghost world and her, and it was super cute. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think I like this one a lot more than City of Bones, City of Ghosts, something like that. I like the second one better, and yeah, I'm super excited to read the rest of the series though. And that is it. That is my January wrap up. I had a pretty decent reading month, I guess you could say. I found some new favorites. I found some books that I really hate that I wish I didn't read, but you know, it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big like, subscribe down below to join the family, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.